Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again! The magic man has come up with another trick! Well, here's a chance to seal it! It's done! It's Georgie Kelly! Rotherham United's pathway back to the Championship is opening up!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast, the podcast that follows the team that does everything the hard way. We will look back at Thursday evening's game and then ahead to Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, which could secure our fate. We will go through all the happenings of Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday as well. Busy few days. Mick's with us, first of all. How are you doing, Michael?
I'm all good, mate. Are you?
Very, very good. Very, very good. Ben's back with us. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you?
Oh, very, very good. John Morell says he highly recommends this lineup as Ben is back. Yes, that is correct. We have to beg and plead Ben to come on to us. He's had a game today, so he's tired, bless him.
Yeah.
Danny's with us. How are you doing, Danny?
I'm not very well, if I'm being honest, chaps. I've been attacked with hay fever today because someone's decided to grow rapeseed near my house, and I am vastly allergic to it. So it's them pesky flowers that made me unwell. And Rotherham makes me unwell as well, so it's a very lethal combo.
Yeah, Rotherham makes us all unwell, to be honest with you. The first place we have to start today is unfortunately with some clown on Twitter. There's not much more we can say there. If everybody's seen the racist, and I don't know how to describe the other one, referencing Peter Whittingham. I don't know how to describe that, to be honest with you, but the racist tweets and inappropriate tweets that were sent out by a certain Rotherham fan, who is unfortunately a Rotherham fan. I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. It's horrific and horrible. What I do want to say from a podcast point of view, I think it's unlikely listeners will watch the podcast, but if you do, please stop listening and watching. We don't want you associated with our show. I prefer you not associate with our club, to be honest with you. But that's beyond my remit, unfortunately. If you are a listener or a viewer, do one, mate. We don't want you. I'm glad that the club have put up a statement. I hope the police deal with it appropriately. Maybe we shouldn't say too much more while it's a potential police investigation ongoing. But that we're very lucky as a club that we've not been associated with that type of thing in the past. We've been sort of proud to say that our club's not been caught up in that, and now it has. Unfortunately. That's the club are very swift in their statements. So that's a positive thing. And obviously we should sort of send our apologies to not the many. Well, my Cardiff fans might be watching this, to be honest with you, bearing in mind Thursday's results. So apologies to any the Cardiff players that were targeted, and the Cardiff fans in general, because that's not a representation of our football club. So don't think it is. That's all I can think to say at the moment, while it's obviously an ongoing investigation with the police, I suppose. And you boys want to add anything else to what I've said?
No, I don't think so. I think you've put it pretty well there, Matt.
Yes.
Yeah, bang on. Just, we don't want you in the fan base. Simple as.
Correct. Right, let's move on. I'd like to move on to a more positive point, but we've got to talk about the game on Thursday evening, which was a very, very tough watch, Mick.
Well, you say that, and I don't know whether you were going to come on to this. If I'm stealing your thunder, I do apologise. However, positive vibes. Happy St. George's Day to everybody watching. Just a year ago today, we were all nursing grazed shins and various other injuries as a result of a tumble down that stand at Gillingham. So just think back, ladies and gents, because we might be able to relive that in just probably, less than 24 hours' time.
I think it's 12 months.
12 months, who knows? If it all goes belly up on Monday and the following Monday, I mean, it might be 12 months. However, let's be positive. It's St. George's Day. It's a bank holiday weekend, so St. George's Day lasts for the whole weekend.
Yeah, you're right. JB says, Happy St. George's Day, everybody. I think Josh put it up as well. Happy St. George's Day. Yeah, a year on from a legend being written into Rotherham folklore a year ago today. Yeah, very beautiful. Very beautiful to look back at the memories and the videos and everything from that day. We also should on last episode we should have talked about the Frecklington. 10 years since Lee Frecklington goal against Aldershot. We didn't mention that, but we should have. We can't call that St. Frecklington's Day. It doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it?
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, that should.
So we should never miss up an opportunity to mention Lee Frecklington, should we? Correct.
That's correct. Right, that's the positive out of the way. Let's get negative. It's difficult to know where to start, but I don't know if we're going to be positive. They sound very downcast, Matt. We have 2 games left to get 1 point. Come on. Yeah, Ian Bradley, every game, every result goes against us, and make no mistake, he thinks Reading will beat Huddersfield. We'll come on to permutations in a bit because there's 2 more games following ours, which obviously impacted us. But Mick, change of formation. There's lots of places, lots of things to cover from Thursday. So we're going to try and do it as succinctly as possible so we can cover as much as possible. There was a change in setup for the first time in a little while. 3-5-2, basically. A bit more complicated than that. Jamie says, what are your thoughts on the formation changing every other week? What were your thoughts, Mick, on the formation change before the ball was kicked? What were your initial thoughts when the lineup got announced?
Oh, you know my thoughts because I told you what they were, didn't I? That team did not excite me one little bit. And I'd love to have seen it as a 3-5-2, but it wasn't. It was a 5-3-2. And there's a subtle but significant difference between those 2 formations. Manager made a mistake. He made a mistake. In my view, he went out not to lose the game. That seemed to be the plan, and I based that sort of assumption on the team that he picked because it was a defensive team. I don't get it. I would mention this on the post match. We're playing a team who are down at the bottom with us. You don't go and you're at home. You needed a point out of the game. 3 would have been absolute guaranteed safety. I don't understand why you would go not to lose the game, personally. And that's not only did he pick the team to sort of confirm that thought, but they played in a manner which suggested that that's what they wanted to do, and it was just schoolboy error for me.
Yeah, because it can be, Danny, that 3-5-2. We've talked about this certainly in the previous management. That 3-5-2 is it can be an attacking formation because you allow if you allow your wing backs to bomb on, you've got your striker, you've got your man, either a second striker or a 10, and then you've got your wingers who can bomb on, and that extra man in midfield. It can be very attacking. Mick's right. This was not an attacking 3-5-2, was it?
No, it wasn't. Your 2 wide players always seem to be sitting further back than where the midfield was, which is why I agree with Mick. It was definitely more of a 5 at the back than it was a 3 at the back, and then you're overloading midfield. Matt Taylor got it wrong. I think he looked at that game and thought, right, we need to effectively try and play a little bit different to Cardiff, but also sit slightly further back due to various injuries we've got, and the fact that I think we were looking for a point, if I'm being honest. We looked for a point in that game and then maybe gone big against Middlesbrough because, then there was more of a break up to Wigan, I'm not sure, but it just didn't work, did it? I mean, Cardiff scored early on again, and you just felt the mood of the afternoon. Because I said at half time that it had a feeling of Burnley about it, that we were lucky to be at 1-1 at the break. And it was just like it just didn't help that they scored like it last minute, did they? Which was an absolute killer. But we didn't really go for the game. We sort of improved a little bit second half, surprise, but we never really went after them. And I mean they missed the penalty as well, so that shows Cardiff's quality. And I think it was just our fault not being able to see a game out. If I'm being I'm changing my tactic, brutally honest. We just didn't see the game out. That's twice in a row where we've just not seen a game out at all. And we're at the point in the season now where we need to be seeing a game out. We need to have that sort of Stoke and Sheffield United mentality of, seeing the game out, all hands to the pump sort of defending. But we just didn't seem to have it the last couple of games against Bristol and against Cardiff. And now it's squeaky bum time. It's sort of the time that you need it. But it might have ruffled up the players a little bit. It might have ruffled Matt Taylor up a little bit to switch it back to what we know, rather than what we can field, with the 5-3-2. I've seen a lot of people talking about, going back to a back four and then being critical of Woody in the back four, but then that worked against Burnley.
Yeah.
So it's we need the sort of Burnley intensity, if that makes sense. That drive to still be in the game throughout it. But the quality football that we played against, like against Blackburn, against Reading earlier in the season, against West Brom, if you were to match those two together, we'd get 3 points from our next two. But there are questions now in my brain. Can we get that sort of performance out of us? And if we can't see a game out, then it makes the task even harder.
Yeah, it does. A couple of comments. Matt Jones is not having a dig at Matt Taylor, but he says he wants the ball in the box. Yeah, our best crosser was kept on the bench. We're going to talk about crossers in a moment. John Morrell, manager set up to be tough to beat, nick the game, backfire big time. Ian Bradley mentions the equaliser from Reading yesterday was a bit of a dagger as well. Yeah, it was. If anybody's watched the post-match reaction, they will see how unhappy I was. Took everything I got to not go a bit bigger than I actually did, because I was so frustrated and angry, Ben. I'm going to steal somebody else's tweet, and I can't remember the name, sorry, but that wasn't a Rotherham United I recognised. The way they set up and the way they played, other than the reaction to conceding the first goal, I didn't recognise that as Rotherham United. It was reactive, ponderous, slow. I mentioned in the post-match about we took a step back. We don't do that. You step forward, you take the challenge on, you take it head on. And I don't think we did that for more than 5 minutes at a time.
No, especially coming off of the Burnley game when you're playing top at league, they're by far the best team in the division. However many points they've got, playing well against them, getting a draw against them, playing well, and then you go a little bit more defensive against, a relegation rival. It just, I don't know. Obviously, football is a game of momentum in it, so you obviously at times you're going to be on top, and at times you're going to have to soak up pressure. But when it was our turn to attack and be on top, we didn't want to be there. We just wanted to kind of hold the ball. We weren't pressing. We weren't pushing forward. We weren't trying to create more chances and put pressure on. We were just kind of happy to soak it up, and then, we could have got a couple goals. They were so shaky at the back. They were very questionable. If we'd have put pressure on them, first cross we put into the box to score. Like, if we'd have put more pressure on them, I think we'd have scored. And then the thing is, right, if you're going to set up defensively, okay. But when it came time for them to put pressure on us, they scored 2 goals.
Yeah,
and got a penalty. So that's
weren't solid.
Yeah, if you're going to set up to be like that, all right, that's fine. You cannot concede when you try to soak up that pressure, and we did, and you just can't, because then it's like a useless tactic, because you're setting up to defend, which means you limit the attacking threat, but then you can't defend. So I don't know, it was just a weird one.
Yeah, and it's not like, Mick, and I know it's self-defense. It's not like we've been bad defensively. I know we consider that goal we considered against Bristol City were a bit comical if you're not with your Rotherham United glasses on. But it was just one of those unfortunate things. We've been pretty solid defensively for a few weeks, and I know that they had. I was really impressed with Cardiff's physicality, to be honest with you. Their strike force, I can see they've got something going forward. Defensively, they're a bit of a joke, unfortunately, as shown by the Huddersfield game today. But I can understand making allowances for those players. But it was too much. It was too much allowance for them. We paid them far too much respect. We should have just gone toe-to-toe with them, because their defence was as bad as our defence.
Their defence was one of the worst I've seen all season. And we didn't put them under much pressure at all. The only time we did, we scored. You know, look, I keep saying it. I keep banging on about this. If you've just said it right there. If we go toe to toe with anybody in this division, we can match them just about. We've shown that with all the top sides that we've played. If we go toe to toe with them, but when we play the teams down in and around us, we don't go toe to toe with them.
Mm.
We seem to have this. It feels like, and I'm not saying this is how it feels, and it feels like we just seem to not want to lose against a team around us, which we don't, obviously. But the way we set up is to do precisely that, not lose. We don't go out to win. We seem to go out to try and win the games against the top sides. It's that sort of, it's that free hit scenario. Either a top side, we can just have a pop at them. If we'd have gone toe to toe with Cardiff on Thursday night and played the way that we can play, like we've played against Burnley and other teams this season, we'd have put 5 or 6 past them. No question about it. If the team that played West Bromwich Albion at New York Stadium turned up on Thursday, we would have put 5 or 6 past them. No question about it. Because they were woeful at the back, and as you've alluded to, they've shown that today against Huddersfield. Absolutely awful, dreadful. And yet we didn't test them. I can't understand it. I can't get my head around it. As a management team, as a set of players, you prepare for the game and you look at the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition, and the weakness of Cardiff City this season has been their defence. It's just dreadful, and it was there for everybody to see on Thursday night, and we just didn't bother. Didn't take advantage of it. And I don't understand it. I don't get it.
I think it says in the comments somewhere, it says pressure does strange things to players, and that's so true. That pressure changes the way people act, and I think they probably felt a little bit of nerves, especially with not inexperience, but like a young manager like Taylor and a young squad. Like, we haven't had many moments like that. Like, that was such a big game, such a big moment, and I don't know.
Yeah,
probably crumbled a little bit.
John Morel comes back. That shows a bit of a weak mentality. Easy to go for games where the pressure is off. When it comes to the games, you need a result. That is obviously worrying, especially with the games coming up.
It's just naivety. For me, it's naivety, inexperience, whatever you want to call it, or a combination of the two.
Ian Bradley thought he was mistakenly playing for a draw and died when the previous manager left. John Fellows, and this is an interesting question, Danny. Is it time for a Duffy to be recalled? I mean, Matt Tiller talked about their physicality, and again, their physicality was very obvious to see, really obvious to see. That was one of their positives, one of their positive parts. Get a Duffin in there. He's the only midfielder with a real presence, and he's been good. It's not like he's a guy who's been garbage, and we all we can't see it. It's been really good when he's played. So it would have made a lot more sense. We all want to see Ollie Rathbone play, and we all want to see Jamie Lindsay play. But it probably was a game for a Duffin.
Certainly a game for a Duffin to come on later in the game and match up Cardiff's physicality. Like we said, Matt Taylor said in his post-match that effectively the game was lost at half-time because of their physicality. Now, to me, that says you bring on your physical presence in midfield, which is a Duffin. Like Coventry has your distributed Lindsay's, your bit of a fiery midfielder who chases everything. Rathbone effectively does chase everything and goes box to box. But if you're trying to match up physicality, you need to bring your physical midfielder into it who can also double up as a defensive partner, which then allows potentially your wider players to occupy the midfield a bit more. Now, it's all well and good talking about it in hindsight and seeing what we could have done, but hopefully he looks at it and goes, right, if Middlesbrough are really physical, then we now have that option. But I don't think Middlesbrough will be as physical as Cardiff are, certainly at the back and up front. Because watching their game against
Luton,
that's the one. They weren't as physical as Cardiff seemed to be. They were definitely more of a slow build-up, play it out, especially when Barlaser came on. There was definitely a build-up sort of team. And we like build-up sort of teams because if we put pressure on them, it disrupts it. and I've probably just jinxed it saying that. But if we want physicality, we bring a doff in him. I really do agree with that. But we missed it against Cardiff, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We really missed that physicality in the centre. We missed it for maybe a few games. It's a bit strange that Duffy's been out for such a long time. We'll talk about the goals in a minute, but Ben, can someone explain why he brought Fosso on? I'm not a Rotherham fan and can see that was an absolutely stupid decision in a physical game when you were 1-1. I like Fosso. I really like Fosso. He's got something to offer. But this was, as John's mentioned, this was a very, very physical game. Fosso was not the right. I know he had to make those subs because of injuries, and I'm not disputing that. But Fosso was the wrong man at the wrong time. I don't know what he's asking him to do, to be honest with you.
Did you pick on me because you know I'm not his biggest fan?
Well, Mick's not his biggest fan either. So
yeah, I don't know.
What about Keane before him?
I don't think it was a game for that. I don't think it was that kind of game. Especially when you're going to play a 5-3-2. I don't know why you're going to play him, but yeah, I don't know. That's the answer. I don't know. I struggle with Fosu. Like, you know, everyone sees he does these amazing skills and everyone thinks he's Messi, but I don't see it. I really struggle with him.
Yeah, I know you do. I do like Fosu, but it wasn't the time or place for him. Was just not the time or place for him. You need somebody. If you don't have you'd often want on bench, so you can't bring him on. But Keane has got that energy. He's got that brightness. Fergie's got that aggression. You could have brought Fergie on. In fact, we didn't see Fergie, blows my mind. But yeah, for me, we went behind, and like I mentioned, I think it was a good response from us. We went behind and then started playing a little bit. We started putting pressure on their defence and started putting balls into the box.
Can I just say something quickly?
Go on.
Are we not going to talk about the Hugo incident? Because I feel like we're being
going to, because you're going to ask
I feel like
for
we're massive hypocrites.
No,
because when other teams do it against us, we sit here and we slate them, and then when one of our players does it, we don't talk about it. That's just not right.
Yeah.
They should be fined. They should be fined a week's wages. He's lost because we scored there. You don't know what happened.
So if anybody is not familiar with the situation, Hugo was through on goal at 8 or 10 minutes, quite early on in the game. Yeah. He was through on goal and he went down. Now, I haven't looked at that game back because I don't want to look at anything that game back. So I don't know whether he has slipped. I don't know whether he has missed his footing, but it looked like he's dove quite badly, to be honest with you.
Very badly.
Mick,
if he's dove, why has he not been booked for it?
Because it's
referee's not got bottle. Referee's not got bottle.
Yeah, fair point, actually.
Yeah, John Morell watched it on the telly. Hugo, how does he not get booked for that? He's absolutely shocking dive. I agree, Mick. It was through on goal. I don't. This isn't necessarily to get Hugo. It's a modern football type thing. Don't know why he's gone down there. You threw on goal. Take the shot on.
I was more angry when at that point than I was when their second goal went in.
Yeah,
I was just absolutely furious. I was livid. I can't believe what I saw. It's just wrong, and I agree with Ben. It needs if I mean, I'm much like yourself. I've not watched it back, so I've not seen it, but it was right in front of us, and to me, it looked like a clear and obvious dive. What in my head, it appeared to me that he realised that he wasn't going to get the better of that defender for speed. The lad would have caught him up. So I think he thinks he's tried to cut across the front of him and then thrown himself on the floor. I think it was dreadful, and I'm with Ben. Fine him. It's just not right. It's cheating. It's cheating, and what makes that situation worse is what you're doing. You're 1-on-1 with goalkeeper. Yeah. And yet you're doing it then. What does that say about you as a player, about your confidence to actually put the ball in the back of the net? It's mind-blowing. I can't believe it. So, yeah, I'm with Ben 100% on that. It was outrageous.
Yeah. Mike Miller agreed. Hugo's dive was embarrassing. He tried to con the referee. Yes, he did. Why does Hugo cheat? Ref missed it. I think it's one of the worst dives I've seen, and he was like 2 yards away from the Cardiff player. Yeah, no defenses. I'm not sticking up for him in that one because it was really, really bad. Again, I haven't watched it back, but at the time I thought, yeah, he's dove there. But It cost us. It potentially cost us as well. Yeah. Anyway, moving away to some more negatives, Mick. I mean, but a bit of a positive. We acted well. It's just happened a few times in a few weeks. We've gone behind. There's been a reaction. We're starting having to go behind to have a reaction now. This time of this season. But there was a reaction. We started being aggressive. We started putting the ball in the box a little bit. We started asking questions of them, and oh my God, it worked.
Would you believe it? Who'd have thought that, eh?
I know.
Oh, my word. So let me just get this right. What you're saying is, if you put a team like Cardiff under pressure, then you start to get opportunities and openings. Has anybody sent this on an email to the club, to Matt Taylor? And just, I mean, it might be worth it. Just drop him a quick message, you know. I'm sorry, but yeah, well, yeah, who would have thought that? Who would have thought it? But yet we didn't take advantage of it, did we? I mean, we got a goal back, I accept. And I mean, for me, we can talk about the first two goals in tandem, if you like, but I think they come under the heading of referee rather than goals, don't they? So I think it, and I know Mike's in the comments, but I think we should come on to that at some stage. But yeah, we fought back. We got ourselves back on terms, and we should have gone on from there. Could have gone on from there.
Yeah. Danny, John says, are we not going to mention Harding's defence for their goal? That was horrendous.
Yes, it was.
He's got a problem with defending balls like that. And there was another one where I think he kicked it out for a corner. He gets lost. You know, when he's out there, I don't know whether he thinks he's in a different position or not. He seems to get really lost in that position. And Mick thinks it's a foul. I'm not sold on that. If that's a foul, we're going to be lots of fouls away. So I'm happy for that one not to be given, to be honest with you, foul-wise. But Harding's got to do better.
Yeah, he does. I mean, like we say, I mean, I was looking on FootMob now at the different formations, trying to do my starting 11 against Borough. But with Harding playing wider in that back five, it's almost like he's too wide, and he always tries to like slot into effectively Peltier's position. But then because he's not in position, and then Peltier has to come narrower to Woody in the middle, Harding then gets caught out because there's a lot of space on that right-hand side, which is why he gets drawn in. Which is like, for example, that is quite poor defending. There is the argument to say he did get fouled. I accept that. But being a defender, regardless of whether you're a wing-back or playing in the centre, you need to be a little bit more physical with those sort of things and at least challenge for it. And he don't, and you know, it leads to a goal. And then later on, when he just kicks it out for a corner, like I say, he just gets lost. It's just that little pocket effectively between 6-yard box at edge 18. Yeah. If Harding's there and all the defenders come narrow just outside the 6-yard box, it seems like he gets lost. That might be because he's better playing in the 4, you know, so he's got a bit more about it there, rather than him trying to come narrow and then everybody else comes narrow and then there's too much space, you know, etc., etc. But yeah, it just seemed a little bit lost. And I think it is, I mean, we said this like last season, he's almost better deployed as a right back outright than he is as a wing back. When he comes into the realm of a wing back, that's when he gets a bit iffy. But then it makes you think, is that still niggling injury with Kyoso, and that's why Kyoso didn't come in? You know, it's I like Wes, but he just gets lost. You know,
I do worry that he's got his eyes on the summer.
I think Phil in the comments there has made the point I was just about to make. If you play Wes Harding and Lee Peltier together on that right-hand side of defence, it's a recipe for disaster, because Peltz gets dragged back further into the middle, leaving Wes high and dry. He does it every time, and that's another occasion. And I don't dispute that Wes should have been stronger. It looked like a foul to me at the time, but obviously we're some distance away from it. It looked like the same foul that Woody committed for our goal. But that's by the by. But if you're going to play Wes Harding and Lee Peltier together, you're always going to end up with Wes being hung out to dry.
Yeah, you are. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Ian Bradley says, sorry, he's a competent right back, not a centre back or a right wing back. But then everything changes because they have a penalty. We shaded the last 15 minutes of the half for me, and then you're thinking, oh god, they've got a penalty here. Whether it's a penalty or not, again, I haven't watched it back, so I'm not going to comment on wherever it was, but it was close on the edge apparently. And then they miss it, and you're thinking that's what's good. We saw it against Sheffield Wednesday last season when Sadler missed that penalty on half time. It was like they'd scored, and they were able to take that momentum into the second half and move forward. We weren't able to do that. We weren't able to harness what was essentially a goal for us and move it forward. And I can't work out why, because it's such a good moment, such a positive moment for us. The ground were buzzing for a few minutes. We just didn't take any momentum from a gift.
No, I mean, you saw the reaction when it missed that. I screamed louder than when we scored. I think the lack of being able to take that into the second half possibly comes from the team talk at half time. I don't know. I wasn't in the changing room, so I can't
Not let you in
on that. No, but that's possibly one of the reasons, one of the main reasons, which again probably comes down to inexperience in these situations. But especially in a game like that, if you can get any sort of hold on momentum, then you need to take it and take advantage of it, because you need to be clinical. And we just didn't do that. We didn't pounce on our momentum, and they did, and that's why they won.
Yeah,
it's really that simple.
John Morell says it was nail and penalty contact. Was instantly outside the box, fouled him into the box. No issue.
I think that's just one of them things. Like, I don't think that was, I don't know. It's just one of them things, isn't it?
Where we sit, we weren't at a very good angle to see it. To be honest with you,
it were a pen.
It looked a pen. From where it was certainly a foul. From my view, it looked certainly a foul. I couldn't. From where I was, I couldn't see whether it was box or not, but you can't.
It one of them challenges where like you said, the contact is outside the penalty area, but he continues the foul into the penalty area. And there is the argument of it's where first contact is. That's where the foul should be given, but it's Oliver Langford's. He's seen the player go down and then give him the penalty. But at the time, it were one of them. It was just like, it's one of them. It's one of them days. Where we're already behind and we've got a little bit of a goal back, and then it turned into that. But it's like when he missed, I thought that was the swinger for us. I thought, right, they've missed a pen. They've quite clearly shown that they are still incompetent, because it's their second pen missing in as many games.
It's something like 4 out of 5 divisional, 5 out of 6 they missed this season.
Yeah, someone just put it in comments actually about how he scored like 1 in 5. Here we go. So Carroll scored 1. He shouldn't be a penalty taker. If he scored 1 in 5, he should not be a penalty taker. Give it someone anyway. Give it a Tete, he'll score anyway. But yeah, so I thought that was the momentum swinger for us. And I would have gone into the changing room at that point and gone, Ray, that's what we're up against. We're up against a team who cannot score from 12 yards. We should be after this game now. Yeah. But we didn't go after it. And we just sort of kept sitting further and further back all the time. And then there was the killer blow of them winning it, which you could see coming. I mean, I said to our lads, there's a goal coming in this game, and I don't know which way it's going to be. And there's a half ticked over. It's like, it's going Cardiff's way. And that's exactly what happened, which makes it even more annoying that you could see it.
Yeah.
Don't do it against Middlesbrough, for God's sake.
Ian Bradley says maybe if they scored a penalty, second half performance would have been different. Yeah, possibly. Sometimes you need a belt up the backside, going behind. I get the feeling, though, Mick, that whatever would have happened, I don't know. I'm still. It's took me till genuinely today to get calm down from Thursday. I would seething, and maybe it would have been a difference, but I just get the feeling that we were just so passive from start to finish. Realistic, other than the few minutes spell, and you're not going to win those games. At best, you're going to draw. You're never going to win a game playing like that. For me, I don't think.
No, I agree. We were happy at 1-1. I think the team, the players, the management, we're all happy with that 1-1. and we're hoping that they'd see it out. And I don't know how many times we've said it that you can't do that in this division because you'll get punished. You'll get punished. And unless you're one of the top teams who are capable of defending for that amount of time, you're going to get punished. And that's what happened. We got what we deserved. Frankly, it got what the performance deserved. So I can't get my head around it. I don't understand it. I don't like it. It disappoints me massively when I see a squad of players that are capable of attacking teams, not attacking teams, and not attacking the teams that they should be attacking. It's just so frustrating. So frustrating.
Yeah. Bradley says it took him ages to get to sleep Thursday night. He was seething. Yeah.
I actually had to go home and lie down. I was that annoyed. I had to go home and lie down. It's like, ooh.
It's been a long time since I've been that annoyed about a football game. I have been now that annoyed before, but it's been a long time, a long time since I've been that.
A Rotherham football game.
A Rotherham football game.
I can remember the last time I was that annoyed at a football game, and it was Burnley away.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, but that were different, weren't it? I think there's a difference in annoying. So that one, you just sort of you feel like you've been robbed. You feel like somebody's took your shoes and socks away from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. This were like you fell over and you've tied your own shoelaces together and fell over. You're just annoyed at yourself. Yeah. Stonner says, "Hey, hate football. Might love it again tomorrow." Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
That about sums it up, that, doesn't it? Yeah,
it does. Yeah.
It's one of them where you get home, kick the door in, but then still put your scarf on the following Saturday. And
exactly. Yeah.
Well,
you go home right annoyed. But then you book the coach for the next away game while still being annoyed. That's football. That's how it works.
Yeah. Back doors come off the hinges, and then you go and put your ticket in your wallet ready for the next game.
Yeah. A few people have mentioned, Ben, we've got to touch on the substitutions because they have highly upset people. Georgie Kelly for Hugels, an understandable one. John mentioned in the comments that it didn't work. Yeah, Kelly didn't have an impact against their physical players. I didn't expect him to be honest with you. That's not where he is going to work. Rathbone came up Foster, which we've already mentioned. A few people sort of complained about the Peltier and Coventry coming off for Keane and Wiles. Yeah, there's question marks because you've got Shane Ferguson, who's been excellent this season, and Yelder, who you could have brought on because I thought Bramall was bang average as well. But do you think they would have made a difference? If you saw Yelder on Thursday, Ben, do you think that would have realistically made a difference the last 10 minutes?
I think subs are hard to judge because you don't know what the game plan is. You don't know why they're being brought on. You don't know what the management team have if they've seen anything. So subs are kind of hard to judge, in my opinion. So I would prefer not to comment on that.
It's turned into
they are because we don't know what the game plan was and we don't know what they've seen. So if I knew that, then I'd comment.
Yeah. Let's devil's advocate, and John brings up a good point here. Devil's advocate, had he gone for it and got 3-0 done, would the criticism been worse, Mick? And for me, Mike Mill answers, yeah, not sure, John. If we're going to go down, at least go down with all guns blazing, not with a whimper. Again, and this sounds so simplistic and it sounds so basic, but we don't do that. Rotherham United do not go down. The good Rotherham United teams and the positive Rotherham United teams. I don't recognise it.
Yeah, but you're implying that he made them subs not trying to win. Is that what you're implying?
I'm saying we are with this. All the decisions, certainly from 45 onwards, were for a draw.
So
and at home against a relegation rival, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right, but that's still fighting, right? That's not. I won't call that a whimper.
What you're saying is, I don't want to put my neck out just in case it all goes
Yeah, but
wrong.
we're implying that we don't know that.
We don't know, but that's that. Watching the game, that's what I took from it. That was my view of the game.
But with no inside knowledge of the actual game. Because if they've seen something...
I've watched Rotherham United 42 times this season.
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
43 times this season.
Because that's relevant. Because if they've seen something that they feel like they can attack and exploit, so he's brought them subs on, and it's just not worked. Like you can try
but
fight,
Matt
but
said
sometimes
it's
it just doesn't
post-match.
work.
Matt Taylor said it's post-match. Something like at half-time, I knew we weren't going to win that game because of their physicality.
Yeah, that's dreadful. That's dreadful.
But that's what
He should be fined.
He should be fined.
Yeah, because that's the only way people are going to let. What did he say?
I can't remember the exact phrase, but it was something along the lines of there was a point in the game where he knew we weren't going to win it.
What after 96 minutes?
You know if I'm his player hearing that, that's awful.
He's honest.
He's got no faith. He's basically saying he's got no faith in his players. No faith in his players or no faith in his plan. That's what he basically said.
We've been there before this season.
Mm. Yeah, but
that's dreadful.
If he goes for it and loses 3-0, there are obviously still criticisms. But the different types of criticisms, aren't there? They are, I don't know. Devil's advocate. Go on, what did you say?
I don't think there is at this stage of the season. I don't think there is. You know, if you're sort of halfway through the season and just trying to slowly build your points up, and you're away from home, and you know the importance and the significance of the game is not the same, is it? You know, in sort of mid-December or mid-January or whatever, you know, you're mid-table or 17th, 18th, whatever. You know, it's the significance of the game is not the same. But here we are, 2 games away from the end of the season. If we win the game, we are almost, not quite mathematically, but you know, pretty much safe. And if that team came out all guns blazing the other night and lost 3-0, no, I don't think I would criticise them. No, because they've gone for it. They've gone for the win. They've gone for the glory. They've gone to save our season, if you like. And I appreciate there's 2 more games left and everything else. So, you know, it's not the end of it. But for me, it was a wrong decision. That's my view. And had we gone toe to toe like we have done against other teams this season, with that high press, high intensity, getting the ball in the box and lost, no, I don't think I would have been anywhere near as critical as I have been. I'd have been disappointed, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I would have been very, very disappointed. However, I don't think you could be critical of them for attempting to win the game. But we didn't do that, and that's the issue, I think. I think that's where the criticism lies. We didn't go out to win that game.
Donna says that's what we want as Rotherham United, to see that they are trying. Yeah, Danny, do you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. I think the whole thing of if we're going to go for it, go for it. I mean, yes, as a manager, you will be looking that you still have 2 games left, one of which is a short turnover between Thursday and Monday, which is quite funny because I heard Cardiff's manager complaining about his schedule towards the end of the season. It's like, well, that's your fault, mate. You know. Anyway, we've got the exact same schedule, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, for me, in the comments, yes, bringing with Fozu and stuff, that's an attacking change. But it was strange because if we were going to go for it, you need to make them attacking change. We brought Wiles on and we brought Keener on, which is your attacking changes. But we didn't go for it with the attacking changes. If you're going to make attacking changes, you need to go after it. And so, yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. I've got a historical thing about, you know, going for it that I've just quickly researched just to confirm I got my facts right, and I have. So this is a slight tangent, but you'll get what I mean. So this is a long time ago, during the invasion of Norway in 1940, right? Stay with me. Stay with me. So during that invasion, the Admiral Hipper was rammed by a very small destroyer called HMS Glowworm, right? Where this battleship were about 3 times its size, and it still went out, all guns blazing, and rammed this battleship just to try and take it out. A fact of that to us, if we go for the big fish, which is effectively Middlesbrough at this point, and all guns blazing, go for it, and attack the big team, might get something out of it. We need to be HMS Glowworm in this situation and just absolutely go for it, regardless of where it leaves us. Just fight for every 3 points, every point, everything. Because a point would do it. That's the annoying thing. A point would do it. Because it might still happen, but I can't see Reading overturning an 8 goal swing to be on the set to finish above us. So a point is it, and that's what we should. That's not what we should aim for. We should aim for all 3, but a point to do it.
HMS Glowworm is a terrible name for a ship, by the way.
It is, isn't it? Especially a ship that's like that big compared to a battleship that's absolutely massive.
Yeah. Let's go through the comments where we move on to Saturday and Sunday's antics. YouTube user says he thinks it was another nail in the coffin. Got to get at least a point tomorrow. Matt Miller says, play on Thursday night. You were saying misdirected tactics, winning one more point, maybe just be 1 point too many for us to achieve. Phil says, when a team comes to New York and plays tight at the back, we struggle to break them down due to lack of creativity. Different when they come at us. Yeah, it is. That's absolutely true. Yeah. So we were all sad. We were all annoyed. And then at about 4:45 on Saturday afternoon, we get given this glimmer of hope by our good old friends in Lancashire, Wigan, who get a very late goal to put themselves in pole position to somehow would have kept their survival hopes alive. Later to be dashed by the scrappiest of scrappiest goals you will ever wish to see at Reading. Just for a brief minute, Danny, just for that brief minute, it was basically done. And then, again, it's almost typical of United. He just got snatched away again.
Yeah, it was the biggest cheer I've let out for another team's goal since Sunderland scored against Sheff Wednesday. But at least it's not just us that can't see a game out. Wigan was so close to effectively keeping us up, but then also showed why Wigan are bottom of the league because they just couldn't see it out. And that's the example we need to look at and go, right, don't do that. Don't do that. See the game out.
Yeah. So go on.
I did wonder where the referee got 9 minutes of injury time from in that game.
Well,
it doesn't matter because you scored in 90+1.
Well,
it doesn't really matter.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it might be. But
you love a good
15.
You have a good complaint about everything, don't you?
I'm saying
We're going
to get another goal.
I genuinely thought Wigan were going to do us a massive favour, which would be so funny. The permutation, Huddersfield have beaten Cardiff today, which proves one thing, that you just don't trust Cardiff City to do anything.
Including it, except that it rains up north.
It rained today. Banged it down all game for Huddersfield game. That makes the permutations very, very simple. Very, very, very simple. We have got to get at least, to be mathematically certain, we need to get at least 2 points. 1 point will put us 3 points clear, and Reading would have to overturn an 8-goal swing on the final day of the season. It's 7 days ago we were saying, if this happens, if that happens, these things might happen. That's where it is at the minute. Ben, how are you feeling about the whole situation? Because it's firmly in our hand. We need 1 point from 2 games, realistically. That should be doable for the results we've got this season against every other team we've got picked up points again. That should be doable, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel quite good about it because it's definitely in our hands. And if worst case scenario we do go down, then we've got really no one else to blame. But as far as Monday or tomorrow is concerned, I don't know. Listen, it's 11 against 11. They're not superheroes. They're not Premier League team. They're in the same division as us. They've got 4 body parts and they're about to play football with us. So anything can happen.
True. I mean, for us to go down realistically, mate, we'll need to lose our last 4 games of the season. And if you lose your last 4 games of the season, there's an argument to say you deserve exactly what you get.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And we deserve to lose the other night. We didn't deserve to lose at Bristol City, to be fair. That was just a freak goal that cost us. But, you said that, but they shouldn't have even probably been in our area at that point. We should have had the ball ourselves. So, if we continue to play the way that we played on Thursday night, we'll go down. We'll go down. Wigan will beat us. There's no question about it. You can't, because we're not good enough. There are very few teams in this division, if any, that are good enough to just try and play for a draw and then do it consistently. And we've tried twice now so far and failed spectacularly on both occasions. So, why would you keep doing the same thing? We've got to change our approach to these last 2 games. We've got to. It's 2 games. If you can get 3 points out of one of them, you're safe. You stay in this division. 3 points. We are more than capable of getting 6. We are capable of doing that.
Yeah.
And the league is such that probably any team is capable of doing that as well. So we've got to go for it. Balls out. 2 games.
Yeah. John Morell says, "Can't look aside that Reading did have 6 points deducted, otherwise you'd be about in the stuff." Yeah, the reverse to that is, Danny, that if we'd have held on back in February or Valentine's Day at Reading and wouldn't have given away 2 soft set piece goals to the giantest man in English football, then we would be safe. It's down to us. We're in this situation because of the odd few stupid moments we've had throughout the season, and maybe every other team says that as well, I suppose.
Yeah, but you can't really look back and think about ifs and maybes throughout the season, because we were doing that last season, thinking, if we'd have not lost here, not drawn there, this, that, and other, we'd have won league, etc., etc. You can't really do the same this season, or if we'd ungone against Reading, if that decision had gone our way against Burnley away, these different examples. If we'd popped in a chance against Sheffield United, if Chio had scored that goal against Burnley that actually came off their keeper in the post, little things like that. Yeah, you can see where little points would get picked up here, there, and everywhere. But looking back at what you've done is never good, because in football anyway, because it needs to be what you're doing here and now. And the here and now is that we need to look at the Middlesbrough game and go, right, they're in playoffs. They might be putting a little bit of bubble wrap around their players in preparation for that, because I think Middlesbrough can still finish above Luton, but Luton would have to lose there too, and Middlesbrough would have to win and draw.
4 points. So Middlesbrough need 4 points, and
to get third, basically. Yeah. But they're effectively guaranteed a home tie seconds in the playoffs, which could be advantage Middlesbrough, if I'm being honest. But we need to look at Middlesbrough as just as they are. Forget they're up that top end. Forget how well they've done this season. Forget how close the game was at the Riverside. Look at it and go, right, how do we get round you? How do we get 3 points against you? And that's all it is. Just look at the game. We said Cardiff was a must not lose because of the significance of it. The Middlesbrough one has even greater significance on it, because it's the game that really, if we lose, it really starts slipping through our fingers. Like Ben said, it's still in our hands, but apparently we've got butterfingers. If we lose against Middlesbrough, then we effectively have to beat Wigan and pray that Huddersfield beat Reading. Or a minimum draw with Wigan. The last 2 games are effectively must not lose because of the significance. A drawing against Middlesbrough, we stay up more or less with the huge goal swing. Like, we'd have to lose 4-0 and Reading have to win, 5-0? Or score
vice versa,
yeah, vice versa, which is possible because we've seen it happen before, but very slight. If we beat Middlesbrough, we're up. That's how simple it is. You don't need any more motivation other than go out and win and give everything to win this game. Because if we win, we're up. Simple as.
Yeah, we are.
It's just beating Middlesbrough. That's the thing.
Yeah. Don says in comparison with the Reading, I know you can't stick with them 6 points. I think that's true. It's just sometimes you look back and go, this has happened, that happened. Which we shouldn't do, but we do because we're football fans. He also points out that the Middle will go for it because Luton have got Blackburn. Yeah, I mean, they don't know who they're going to play in the Championship playoff picture is insane. So there's no sort of we want to finish third because we're going to play them or fourth, whatever. But we'll see how that goes from there. How confident are you, Ben? We'll talk about how we want to set up and what we want to see from your players in a minute, really. But how confident are you that we can do enough? Let's start with tomorrow. It depends how we set up, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, it's nearly possible to kind of guess. I hope it's positive. I hope it's attacking. I hope it's the back to the 4-3-3. Yeah, I mean it's impossible. It's all about because it will definitely be in the players' minds of don't lose, and that's if that is in their minds, that's such a negative mindset, and that could affect them. Maybe that's the mindset we had in Cardiff against Cardiff. A little bit of nerves mixed in with that as well. So if that's the case, then that's not looking good. But you don't know what they've been told in the build up to it. You don't know how much confidence they've built up in training. You don't know how they're going to try and attack them. So it's impossible to kind of comment on what I think the team's going to be. Sorry.
Yeah. If we lose tomorrow, don't lose by many, because obviously that if we lose 3-0 tomorrow, then the goal difference issue becomes a little less.
I think, in my opinion, I think when it comes to this, I said this to, I think it was Mick earlier. I think it's funny how teams behave when they're fighting for their life, and I think it's more when it comes to this time of the season. It's like you can have your good tactics and all of this, but it's just like, do you want to stay up? Do you want to fight, or are you just gonna say, yeah, like, do you want to stay up? That's the question. Yeah, that's just the question.
Ryan S says needs to be on the front foot regardless of Middlesbrough's quality. Yes, I think we do. We should also say there's narratives with Dan Barlaser and Matt Crooks coming back to New York Stadium for the first competitive games in a non-Rotherham United shirt. I hope they get a decent reception. The shame is we've got other things to focus on. Had we done what we should have done on Thursday, then we could, be a bit more welcoming. And who knows what's happening with Richard Wood? This could be Richard Wood's final game at New York Stadium in a Rotherham United shirt. We don't know because the club haven't announced anything. But there's a reasonable possibility this could be his final game. But again, we can't really celebrate that, Mick, because we've got stuff to worry about.
Well, we could be able to
celebrate it, can't we?
Yeah, if we win,
yeah,
happy days, isn't it? We can celebrate all three of them. So go for it. As Ryan said in the comments there, front foot, go for it. If we lose, if we sit back and try and soak up pressure, we're going to lose. There's no question about that. It's that's not up for debate. If we just sat back against Burnley or Sheffield United or the other teams that are up there, we would have lost. Why would you do that? I don't understand it. So get out there, get on the front foot. If we lose, we lose. So be it. We go to Wigan and we take the points at Wigan. We'll go to Wigan on the last day. 3,500, 4,000 millers there. Wigan already relegated. We will go for it, and we will. So do it tomorrow. Do it on Monday. Get on the front foot. Get in the faces. We'll get something out of the game. If we don't, we don't. But at least we've gone for it. Can't be afford to be sitting back. So
can't be left wondering. You shouldn't be left wondering.
No, faint out and all that.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a pre-match press conference. So we haven't had any updates on Coventry, who came off injured, and Peltier, who also came off injured. So we don't know if they're going to be fit or not. There's nothing come out of the club, which I'm surprised at, to be honest with you. So I don't know what you think, Danny. But would you expect to see a three back in anyway? Would you expect to see a similar formation, or certainly would you want to see a change back to 4-3-3?
Change it back to 4-3-3. I mean, to me, it's interesting. The club haven't said anything, and it's the day before the match, and it kicks off at 1 o'clock. So are we getting something at 6 o'clock in the morning? Like, have we scheduled the tweet for the wrong day? Or is it a cheeky, right, we're not going to say anything? Because I noticed that the club changed tactic on Twitter by not having the actual formation in the top of the tweet.
They've changed that, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit, interesting. And no pre-match press either of at weekends. Is that because Matt Taylor was away on the Saturday watching somebody, or we don't know? But for me, it has to be 4-3-3 because basing it off Bora's last 11 against Luton, they go very strong up top. They've effectively got an attacking four because you've got the three and then the one man up top. So you need a fair whack at the back to stand up to that. Plus, you've got a lot of pace out wide in Giles and Bowler on the left and Deject Steele and Jones on the right-hand side. So that would cater more to Harding playing as a right back rather than your wing back, which then, and if Peltier is injured, slot him in at the right back in your 4. And then to counter it on the other side, you have Hjelde and Fergie. And obviously on the right hand side, you've got Harding and Onagbeni. It seems to be more of like a sitting midfield 2 with Barlasser and Mowat. So my midfield would be Lindsay, Rathbun, Coventry if he's fit, but if we want to go physical, bring a Doffin in and then just shuffle it round slightly. And then, like I said, up top, Fergie, Hugo, Long, Benny, pace out wide, big man in middle, counteract that with the big men they've got at the back as well. But I want Rathbun in the middle of the park purely so we get to see the Rathbun Crooks battle at New York Stadium. The 6'7" against the 5'2". I want to see that battle at New York. And I think, and didn't Rathbun have the better of him at Riverside and all, didn't he? Not jumping wise,
no.
But football wise, he had him a bit. So I want to see that again because it'll be fun.
That Middlesbrough game was nearly 6 months ago.
I know, bloody hell. And Middlesbrough came the closest to scoring in that game, if I remember, because it bounced across the goal face, and I think everyone let out a squeal.
Yeah.
But there was a comment a minute ago, and I've lost it, about we need to be on the front foot straight away. Absolutely agree. If Middlesbrough win the toss, pressure them straight away, get the ball back. If we win the toss, just keep hold of the ball, let them come to you, and then exploit it. Don't go out wide to start with, because that's that's what they'll want. No, out wide, win the ball, counter attack down the side, because that's exactly what they did against Luton. Keep the ball in the middle. We've not been doing it very well recently, but keep the ball in the middle. To use John Breckin's phrase, look after the ball, it'll look after you.
We're not going to do that though, Daniel, because whenever we get
that's how we should be doing
Sunday League, oof it up and get some possession.
Exactly.
That's what we do every time we've got a kick off.
Exactly.
It's like a pub team.
Exactly. But
anyway,
we need to change it.
Anyway, yeah, you've got to pay respect to this Middlesbrough team because they have some excellent players. We know Dan Barlas's qualities. We know Crooks' qualities. As John mentions, he plays a bit further forward, which he did towards the end for us. Chuba Akpom has got 28 goals this season. Jordan Archer signed for them in January, and he's an excellent player. This is a team that can hurt us, Ben. And yes, we've got to go for the game. Yes, we've got to be positive. But we can't be being stupid and just, chucking Woody up, for every counter attack and things like that. You've also got to pay them the respect that they are due, which has been mentioned in the comments. It is a fine balancing act we've got to find to respect these top championship players.
Yeah, but we've done it before. I mean, we beat Sunderland. We beat who else we beat up there? Blackburn when they were third.
Yeah,
we whooped them. So we have got the quality to do it, and we have got the management team capable of structuring a plan that can do that. So it's just whether we can or not. That's it. There's no, we can analyze it all you want. It's just we've just got to go out there and win. Like, it's as simple as that. We've done it before, we can do it again. But we can also go out there and play crap and lose like we've done before. It's really a coin toss.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
That's a worry, isn't it? That's exactly what it is. Which one's going to turn?
Is that a strength? Because if we go out there and win, we could go out there and win 4-0.
We could
go out there and lose 4-0. I think it depends on the motivation of players at this point in the season.
Also depends on them as well. Because if you're a Middlesbrough player, they could play their strongest 11. But as a Middlesbrough player, in the back of your mind, you've got that first leg at playoffs to think about and second leg at playoffs. So
yeah, you're probably not going to go into tackles as hard as you normally.
Exactly. It's potentially a really good time to play Middlesbrough. Potentially. But then at the same time, they may make 7 changes, and the players they bring in want to make an impact because they want to make that playoff place their own. We don't know until the teams come out, do we? At 12 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah, football, man. Football. Ben, give me your prediction.
What score prediction?
What other prediction would you like to give me?
I don't know, team.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'll do score. I think 2-1 Rotherham.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
Get that Hawaiian shirt out, Ben.
Mick?
I think we'll lose. I think it's going to go down. I think it's going to go down the Wigan on last day. So I think it's going to be 2-1 to Middlesbrough.
Can't be taking this. Too much stress. Danny?
I mean, for our YouTube viewers, I've already done my team prediction. And tactics as well. I'm getting into this football. I might do my UEFA badges up at summer. Question is, do I go with my head or with my heart for this result?
On game 45 of the season, you've got to go with your heart.
Going with my heart. Barlas is going to... No, Crooks is going to score. He's not going to celebrate. We're going to bring it back to 1-1, but not before half time. We'll do it. We'll do early in second half, and then we'll win 3-1.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to go 2-2, same as Burnley.
I'll settle for a Desmond every day of the week tomorrow.
Yeah.
Every day.
Are we all happy that a draw does it?
Yeah.
You can't see an 8-goal swing on final day, can you?
I can't see an 8-goal swing.
What were it last year? Who did it last year? In League Two?
Bristol had to have like a 5-goal swing against.
Promotion battle's different, though, isn't it?
Northampton. They won 7-0 against already relegated Scunthorpe.
Do you think Warnock's going to let Reading win 5-0?
No.
Well,
Our Uncle Neil will do everything in his power to beat Reading for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll beat Sheffield United somehow, and then he'll beat Reading, and then he'll go, well, if Rotherham go down, it's still their fault. You know,
just right into the mix. When Neil was our manager, after we were safe, we lost 5-0 to Hull on the final game of the season. Final
away game of the season, we lost 1-0 to Blackburn at home on the final day, I think.
No, Hull away was the final game.
Away?
Banked. Yeah.
Oh, straight after we're safe. Yeah.
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 Here we go. Right, comments. Ian Bradley 3-0. Josh says 1-1 Barlasser on goal. Barlasser for them. Phil says 0-1 to them. Carl Briggs says Georgia Kelly to Sabres 1-1. John Mill says 3-1 to them. Hopes he's wrong. Matt Squire says 2-0 down to the final game. Matt Mill says similarly 2-1. INS says 3-1, 3-2 to the Millers if we attack. 7-0 Borough if we sit back. It says 1-0 to the Millers. Steve Grundy says 2-1 to them. Azza says 2-1 to Rotherham. Mike Connell says play like against Cardiff, we lose 3-1, but like we did against Blackburn, we win 2-1. Andy Kelly says 2-1. Chris Taylor says 1-1. Matt Squires mentions the 5-1 as well. Michael Connell asks the most important question to get of the day. The referee. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat everybody, but prepare yourselves. Keith Stroud is going to be the man in the middle on Bank Holiday Monday.
He'll be disappointed, will Keith? He's going to be really disappointed because he's not got the live Sky game, so he's not going to get on telly.
That's true. That is true. Keith Stroud. There's nothing more I can say. I'm not going to bother with his stats because
what was the last game you refed us for?
That Coventry game. With the Hugo disallowed goal, which he knows he got wrong. We can't, not going into too much detail, but he knows he got it wrong.
We went into detail more or less with the one straight after that, Matt. We know how he knows he got it wrong because of a certain friend of the podcast.
Interestingly, was he not? Sorry, Danny. Was he not fourth official yesterday at the Reading Wigan game?
Was he?
I believe he was. I might be wrong, but the same foul on the Wigan keeper that got us a disallowed goal against Coventry managed to allow the Reading goal yesterday. But there you go. That's another story, isn't it, I suppose.
No. That was Oliver Langford.
I recognised him. Can I just say, I know we'll go. I've not upset Mike 61 Miller tonight. Can I just say that the game on Thursday night saw one of the worst refereeing decisions I have ever seen in my entire life. And I have never seen anything like it. The Jamie Lindsay, for anybody who's not seen it, everybody must have seen it. Jamie Lindsay grabbed the Cardiff player, both hands, by the shirt, from the back, dragged him backwards onto the floor, and the referee played on. I mean, the guy was one of those. It was take one for the team. He's pulling back right in front of the linesman. Nothing. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in the whole of my life. We were just sat there with head in his hands. Oh, that's a yellow card. Here we go. Free kick, dangerous position. What's going to happen now? Nothing. Absolutely nothing's going to happen. What?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that Matt Taylor's signed for Penistone Cricket Club. Maybe Jamie Lindsay wants to sign for Rotherham Titans next season, and that was his audition.
I'll tell you what, if they've got a scouting stand on Thursday night, he's in with a chance.
John Morell, ref was shocking, but he did get all the major decisions correct, which I think is fair. And maybe you can accept that. If you're going to be rubbish, at least get the big ones right. I think he probably did, I think that's probably right. I think we've done this last few episodes, but let's do it again. Finally, one-word answer. Are we staying up, Ben?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Mick?
Yes.
Let me ask you another question. If this wasn't Rotherham United, take your hat off. Take your Rotherham United hat off. Pretend you're a Borough fan. Are Rotherham United staying up?
Yes. By the skin of our teeth, I'd say, as an opposition fan.
Okay, fair enough. If I'm an opposition fan, I think I'm very positive. I would be more positive about Rotherham. It's just a point, isn't it? It's just a point.
I mean, technically, even if we lose against Middlesbrough, we could still stay up with a point at Wigan. It just makes it a hell of a lot more difficult.
Yeah,
I think we want the draw against Middlesbrough as a minimum, just for ease, because speaking from my own personal point of view, I don't want to get relegated dressed as a dog at Wigan.
That is the most important thing. Yeah.
Yes, but it's like, but if we lose this one, a point would still, depending on how badly we do lose, a point would still do it. Wigan are already down, so they're effectively playing for pride, which can be a very dangerous thing. But that's why there's the highlight on the Middlesbrough game to get a little bit of something, because they're in the playoffs regardless. They're playing for position and not for pride, which could put more pressure on them. But if you're playing for pride, it just takes the pressure off, just like, go out and get a roll. Which is why I look at the Middlesbrough game as a bit more of a pick some up there and we should be okay.
Comments. John says yes, we'll stay up. Gaza says yes. Josh, Ian, Cal, Richard say no. Gaza says yes. John Morell says unknown. Matt Squire says yes. Rustin asked me, and the Miller's staying up. I go back to what I've been saying for the most second half of the season. I still can't see this team going down. I can't see this team going the last 4 games without winning. That would just be mad. With the results that this team has picked up in the past, and no pressure does strange things, like Ben mentioned, John mentioned in the comments. And as a neutral, I quite enjoy what pressure does to people in football, especially in football. It can make things so exciting. But I've just got faith that this team will still do it. Even after Thursday, I've still got faith in this damn team.
But the thing is, Matt, it'd be nice just to watch what pressure does to somebody else.
Yeah. We could do like playoffs. When Sheffield Wednesday, Barnsley, and whoever else take part in the League One playoffs, we can all enjoy that from afar.
That'll be great. So long as we're not looking at who we're going to be playing as the losers of them games next season.
That's why we all love watching football. These big nights, what it does to you, and as a fan and as a player, it's one of the reasons it's the greatest sport in the world. One of the many reasons.
These are the things, aren't we? You look back, and we opened the podcast on this, and we can close it on this, can't we? It's St. George's Day. Look at the pleasure. Look at the pleasure that 12 that we had 12 months ago today. The pain that we went through to get there, but then that release was just something else.
Yeah, what a day. John Brunell says, Matt, you've been saying this and you've only been heading one day. Say you're going down for God's sake.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm confident we'll do it. It hurt Thursday, didn't it? As we all know, it hurt Thursday, but we'll still do it. I'm very, very happy and confident.
It's legit turning into a Ted Lasso episode, isn't it? Where we'll go to Wigan, just like, we need a tie.
A sign up here that just says "believe."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the final game of the season, so hopefully we're hoping that we can have an all pleasant lap of appreciation by the players as well post match, and hopefully it's all nice and pleasant.
No pitch invasion, apparently.
But
I can see there being one if we win.
We can't condone and we can't encourage a pitch invasion.
No, we don't condone it, but I can see one happening if we win, because if we win, we're up. But just do your pitch invasion. Be polite. Don't go and fight opposition fans like we did at Gillingham, because that was stupid. Just go on the pitch, have your merry dance. Leave the corner flags alone. Go back into the stand, lap of appreciation. Then we can all go back to the pub and get absolutely lashed. But if we draw, no pitch invasion.
To correct you, Danny, I'm like, don't go on the pitch.
I never said it was. I'm saying I can see one happening if we win. But don't, because it's naughty. Don't. And technically illegal now, so don't.
Technically illegal, that's true. Anyway, let's move on.
Don't invade the pitch. Leave it be. Stay in the stand.
Hour and 16 minutes. We've gone very, very long tonight. Maybe as you would expect after the Cardiff game, to be honest with you. Thank you all that's been with us. Thank you that's put up with our absolute nonsense and at times rambling nonsense. We will be back. We will have a post-match tomorrow, which will be up tomorrow. Instant reaction from the Middlesbrough game. Again, one way or another, it may be well worth a watch, depending on what happens in the game. What sort of Cardiff instant reaction was. I don't know. That obviously depends what time we get out of the stadium, but yeah, we will certainly do an instant reaction and cry in each other's shoulders or hug each other with relief. We will find out in less than 24 hours' time.
I might pull the same stunt I pulled against Hull, where I'd offer their keeper 20 quid to let us score, and he did.
Yeah. Michael Cornell, likewise, we asked about the subscriber count. We're well over 1,000. The fish-eating nonsense will happen post-season. We will definitely do it. Danny can't back out of this. Trust me, he can't.
I'm not backing out. Don't worry.
But yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe. Ben, John's got a comment for you about NFL in the comments. I'll let you answer that directly. We will be back. I think we're going to do an episode Wednesday, I think, for the review of the Middlesbrough game. And then we'll do an episode close to the time with the Wigan game, depending on what's happening with it. Probably. Keep an eye on social media. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook on IFC_pod, just so we keep an eye on what's happening there, because things could change. Maybe an emergency pod if we survive. Who knows? Keep an eye on that for that. Ben, thank you for being with us tonight. It's been a pleasure to have a future NFL star in our midst. Thank you very much.
Can I just say, I think Ravens.
Dolphins.
No way.
Miami. Done really well in the draft. Miami.
Anyway, Ben, more importantly, would you like to answer Jamie's question? Is Ben's tattoo on his arm Rotherham related?
Yeah, it is. I don't know if you can read. I don't know if you can read that.
So it's just.
That's not right, actually.
It says, when the whiskey's dripping from my tongue, do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Yes.
I mean, this one and then this one's kind of Rotherham related.
Yorkshire.
So
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but it is. Too good. Thank you, Ben. Thank you very much, Ben. Danny, thank you for being with us tonight, mate, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I see you tomorrow. Hopefully it's a positive one.
And Mick, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
No, you're very welcome.
Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you all soon. Up the Millers, and God, I hope we do it tomorrow.
I'm stressed already, but come on, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Ravel, vicious, and brilliant. Mule with it. Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. The magic man has come up with another trick. Well, here's a chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie K.